To look at rounding. This is something that you all have done for several years, actually, but we wanted to do a little review, give you a few tricks of the trade, so to speak, give you kind of a reasoning behind why we teach you to round. Your learning goal that I would like for you to write down is I will round numbers to help me estimate and work with numbers mentally. Some vocabulary that I would like for you to have in your journal is rounding, which is simply making a number simpler but keeping its value close to what it was. And then we have place value, which is the value of where the digit actually is in a number. And annex is something you'll hear me talking about, which is adding to something as in zeros. So when we talk about annexing, we're going to be talking about annexing zeros. So go ahead and stop, put your learning goal and your vocabulary down. And here are some steps to rounding that I think are going to be useful. And I'm going to have you write step 1 and step 2. So after I read them, go ahead and pause and write step 1 and step 2. And go ahead and underline the word underline and circle the word circle. And that's going to be just a little cue for you when you're going back in your notes. So rounding is useful for estimating numbers. In order to round numbers, you must first know place values. You will see some steps and examples on how to round numbers. So step 1, underline the number that is in the place that you are being asked to round to. So for example, if I asked you to round to the thousands place, you would underline the number that's in the thousands place. Step 2, circle the number that is directly to the right of the number that you underlined. So whatever number you underlined, look to your right, and that is the number that you are going to circle. That circled number is going to be kind of the boss, so to speak, and that's going to tell us what we need to do with the underlined number. So go ahead and stop, get those 2 steps written down, and then we'll move on. So some of the steps to rounding leads us to basically this question. Are we going to round up or are we going to leave something the same? So we're always going to be asking, do we go up? Do we leave the same? So use this guideline to determine if the underlying number remains the same or if we round up 1 digit. We will round up if the circled digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So basically we could say if the circled digit is 5 or higher, we will round up and take the underlying number and go up 1 digit. We will keep the number the same if the circled digit is basically 4 and down. So a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. For example, let's round this number to the nearest 100. So notice that I underlined the 3 because the 3 is in the hundreds place. I circled the 6 because it's directly to the right. And since the circled number is 5 or higher, it's a 6, we're going to take the 3 and round up and make it a 4. So our answer is 1,400. This is something that I need you to make sure that you know. Remember that all of the digits, including the circled digit, to the right of the underlined digit become zeros in your final answer. I'm going to say that again. All of the digits, including the circled one, to the right of the underlined digit will all become zeros. So you will annex zeros all the way across. I'm going to have you take the next 4 numbers that you see on your screen and round to the underlined digit in each number. So if you are looking at the first one, we have 34,892. So I'm asking you to round to the thousands place. Go ahead and do each one of those, and then we will stop and we will check those together and see how you're doing. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started and see how you did on these first problems. We have 34,892. This first one, we have the 4 underlined, so that is the thousands place. We're going to go over here and we're going to circle the 8 and notice that it is 5 or higher, which is going to tell us then that the 4 needs to be up 1 digit, so a 5. So I'm going to come down here and make 35, and remember that everything, including the 8, now becomes zeros. So I have 35,000 as an answer. So it's close to 34,892, but when rounded, it's about 35,000. All right, let's go ahead and do this next one. 145,821. And I've underlined the tens place. I'm going to go directly to the right and circle the 1. This is going to tell me that the 2 is going to need to stay the same because this number is 4 and below. So this now is going to go stay, actually. So I'm going to rewrite the number 145,820. So remember, the circled one is now going to become a 0. Go ahead and check that one. The next one is 7,682,791. I have underlined the thousands place. I'm going to look to the right. This comma shouldn't be a concern to you. You still look directly to the right, even if there's a comma. The 7 is 5 and higher. This tells me that the 2 needs to become a 3. So I'm going to rewrite my number, 7,683. Everything else up here, we're going to annex zeros. So 7,683,000,000 is your answer. Remember, this number is an exact answer. This one is a rounded answer, and it ends in zeros. The last one I gave you actually is a decimal number, and I did that on purpose just to show you that we round the very same way. So I have 45 and 754,000. I have underlined the tenths place. I'm going to go here and I'm going to circle the 5. Okay, get that circled. This tells me that the 7 needs to go up 1. So I have 45 with my decimal, so and 8 tenths. Now, with a decimal, you can make these zeros. That's not going to change the value of your number, so they're not necessary. They're certainly not wrong, but they're not necessary. We still have 45 and 8 tenths. So check that one. You with a little poem that might be helpful. If you want to jot this down in your journal, it's called Rounding Whole Numbers. 5 or more, let it soar. 4 or less, let it rest. So if you think of 5 or more as the circled number, you're going to let it soar or go up with the underlined number. If the circle number is 4 or less, you're going to let the underlined number rest and stay where it is. So hopefully that'll give you just another little trick for rounding. Again, this is a review skill, so we'll probably breeze through this pretty easily and won't have a lot of trouble on our mastery check over this. But we will get on this tomorrow and make sure that we all have a really good understanding of what we're doing. And have a great night.